Mulibwanji, Mulishani, how are you? And welcome to another exciting edition of Temmie Talks. I am your host, Temmie. And of course, as usual, I am not alone. But today, I'm not just with one, but two guests. So I have these two beautiful ladies. They'll introduce themselves, of course, yes. So we'll start with on my right. Yeah, on my right. Yeah, you can introduce yourself. By the way, these are pupils. Yes, they are pupils. So you can introduce yourself, the school where you're coming from, and the grade that you're doing.
All right. Hi guys, my name is Faith Kalumba, a grade 12 student at Lusaka Girls Secondary School, and I'm here to share with you about the dangers, the effects of peer pressure among the students in schools.
Yay! She'll just say the topic for us. So guys, our topic of discussion today is peer pressure among pupils. So as Faith has put it, we'll learn the effects, we'll learn the dangers, we'll learn the positive side of it and everything. So yeah, we proceed with you.
Hi everyone, my name is Faith Muntali from Lusaka Girls, a grade 12 student. Yeah.
Yay. Okay, so let's get the conversation to begin. Okay, so guys, we're talking about peer pressure, all right? So what is peer pressure in the context of a school environment? By that I mean, as pupils, how do you define peer pressure in school? Yeah, as in, you understand what I mean, right? Yeah.
Okay, so for me, I think, for me, peer pressure is the influence that we get from our fellow peers, especially in schools, because we're ever in school. We're like in school from morning till the evenings. Yeah, so I think that's the influence we get. Yeah.
I love how she generalized the term peer pressure. All right, so she didn't sit on just this part or just this part. As we know, it has many sides, all right, but she just generalized everything to say the influence that you get from your fellow pupils, right? We proceed with you. So what's
to my point of view, I feel like peer pressure is the desire to indulge in activities or certain things that your fellow pupils or others are doing. You feel like you also want to do what they are doing. That's peer pressure.
Hey. Okay, I hope you have your pen and the piece of paper while you're writing the points. Brilliant definitions. All right, so can you share an experience or a moment where you felt like you were being pressured by your fellow pupils to indulge into something that you felt like, okay, this didn't really sit well with me, but let me just do it for the sake of my friends? Have you ever been in
Yeah, I have been in one situation, like it was in grade 7.
Okay.
So like at the center where I was writing through my exams, I found this friend. She was like, I'm a rich kid and stuffs like that. And then here comes me. Yeah. We don't have money, and by that time I never even had a phone. So she would come with a phone, and she would like during the break, like it's a break time while like we're waiting for the next paper. So like she would buy certain stuff, and here it's me, I don't have anything, I have nothing. Then I was just forced to start walking. The transport I was given, I started walking and then using it so that I look as if I have money as well. So yeah.
Wow. What the pressure it was. So you start walking home so that at least
home.
you check a rich kid, at least you eat something. Oh, but that was a good sacrifice. Look, you were sacrificing for food, not for other stuff. So, yeah, was there a moment where you felt like you were being pressured into doing something?
Yeah, there was. It was actually recently, like at school. There was a certain activity. We usually knock off at 3 p.m., but there was a certain activities and we were knocking off at 4 p.m. And then like most of the students started dodging. They wanted to go home. And I felt pressured to join them to go home. Yeah. But at the very end, I ended up joining them as well, dodging.
She gave into peer. So both of you actually gave into peer pressure. Hey. This is something. Okay, so do you think that there's there's such a thing as age and maturity to giving into peer pressure?
Yes, I think there is, but mostly, like in general, everywhere there is peer pressure, but it mostly takes place among us teenagers.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
like we come from different places, we come from families of different statuses, so like we come together in a school, the poor, the rich, the middle class, like we're all in one class, and then we like have to socialize with different people, and so I think it's mostly among us teenagers.
Okay. What's
I
your take?
believe it's the same. There's
Okay.
no age for peer pressure. It can happen among the youth, among the aged. It's everywhere.
Oh, it's everywhere. How can you best next time if peer pressure was presented to you? How can you resist it? So we'll start with Faith.
I think the best way you can resist it is by knowing what you want and setting your goals.
Okay.
Yes. And like knowing the place where you're coming from, like for me, yeah, it's like you know the place where you're coming from. That's when you like set some goals and set some boundaries to say this is where I can end. Anything beyond this, I cannot do.
Oh gosh, looks like I girls as brilliant students, right? Okay, so we proceed with you.
I would like to say know your limits, know your potential, and know where you stand.
Okay.
Stand on your ground no matter what. Yeah.
Stand on your ground, no matter what.
Stay
Not
true
from
to yourself.
Wasankala bakwalolo mwela. If this one comes and says, Faith, let's go to the restroom. Na mitundo zesi mumvela, you decide to follow. Know your ground, know where you are coming from. I'm learning. Okay, so what type of behaviors do you think you as pupils are mostly presented with that leads you to being pressured into wanting to do?
So, like, bringing phones at school is prohibited, but there are some people who have, like, iPhones, and they'll, like, come with them, and then there'll be, like, those who literally don't have phones, then they'll be, like, pressured to do some certain things that might lead them to harming their lives or, like, bringing danger to their lives just to showcase that they also have an iPhone or any smartphone.
Okay. So aside from coming with phones, are there any other behaviors that pupils get forced into doing, even though you know, okay, I come from a poor background, then I come at school, I find this, and then I decide to join? What kind of behaviors are mostly influenced by peer pressure? To you, Faith, now.
Alright. There is this certain like group of people in schools that are called the excess.
Okay.
Yeah, they usually come with expensive things. So like those people are coming from a humble background. They feel pressure to also have those things, to also get money, involve themselves in certain ventures so that they can have money to buy those rich things those other people are coming with at school.
Okay, so in case you're just joining us, this is Temmie Talks. We are talking about peer pressure among pupils, and with me here today are these two beautiful ladies, Faith from Lusaka Girls. These are grade 12 pupils from Lusaka Girls. They're just here to share with us what they understand about peer pressure, what they've gone through from the time they started grade 1 up to grade 12. There are times where they gave into peer pressure, and now here they are sharing their experiences about peer pressure. But I would love to say hats off to them, because you'll be writing your exams soon, right? And by the looks of things, you haven't indulged yourself into things that might just make you want to drop out from school, because certain peer pressures have made other pupils to even drop out of school. So if you haven't dropped out of school, you'll be writing your exam soon. Hats off to you. All right, so we proceed. Which one do you think promotes more peer pressure? Is it our friends, classmates, or social media? Which one of these promotes more peer pressure?
For me, I wouldn't choose, because I feel like it all starts from social media.
Okay.
So like you see something, a celebrity has done something, then someone watches it, and then they try to like bring it to you. Yes, so I think it starts from social media, then there, but it can also start from friends, but mostly like social media influencers. Yeah, I think that's where it all comes from.
So according to Faith, it's a cycle which starts from social media, comes to friends, comes to classmates, and then the other ones are influenced like that. According to you, Faith, which one of the three do you think promotes more peer pressure?
I feel like it's social media.
Okay.
Yeah.
You also feel like, why?
Like most of the youth nowadays, no one doesn't have a social media account. We are all on social media. They spend most of their time on social media. So I feel like they get more influenced there. And then when they just come to school, they began to interact with their friends and share what they saw on social media.
Then they influence the other. That percentage that is not on social media is also influenced. Then the whole class is influenced. Then the whole school is influenced.
It's more of like ecology.
Guys, it's been 3 years since I wrote my grade 12, so please don't Okay, so how can pupils create a positive culture warm that would help to navigate the negative peer pressure that we have in school?
There are clubs at school. There are sports clubs. You can indulge in sports clubs. There are different clubs that are there at school, so they give us time. Yeah, we spend most of our time during clubs, so we get to
Okay. Faith.
By like forming certain organizations or groups in school where you can talk about the problems girls are facing and the issues of peer pressure and how they can resist it, because there are some people who like don't want to be involved in such, but they are forced to because they are surrounded by people who are influencing
No, proceed. It's anything.
Yeah,
it's a free world.
Influencing them, yes.
So now, moving on. What advice would you give to a person who's currently struggling with peer pressure? They come from this background, but hey, sometimes you understand that it's difficult to resist peer pressure. You understand because you guys at some point you gave into peer pressure. Yeah, so to that person that has also given into peer pressure, I'm glad that you gave into peer pressure, but now you've learned from it, and next time you would not give into it. So, but to that person who gave into peer pressure and now they're stuck into it, anything that comes, what's your word of advice to them?
I think they should, since they've realized that
Tell them.
Okay, since you have realized that it's high time you stop with the peer pressure, like giving into peer pressure, you just have to respect your decisions and respect your goals, and then tell them to say, no, I can't do this anymore. And at first they might laugh at you, but eventually they'll even respect you, and you promote more people from, like, if it's a group, others will even try to like come out because of what you've done. So like you'll be an influence to others not to do the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. Don't say, yeah, I want to hear from you also. Okay. Yeah, so according to you, how can a person who's struggling with, a pupil who is struggling with peer pressure right now, what advice are you giving to them?
I would say stand on your ground, because those people who you are trying to please, they won't be there at your lowest point. They will run away from you. So know your limits, know where you come from, and stand on your ground. Stay true to yourself.
Yay. Stay true to yourself. Oh, let me also stay true to me. But me, I'm true to myself. Are you true to yourself, Faith?
Yes, very true to myself.
So guys, that's how it goes. Make sure that you stay true to yourself. This is specifically for you pupils who are having difficulties in navigating negative peer pressure. We understand that there's also positive peer pressure, right? Where you just get influenced into, where you have maybe a certain group of friends where you force each other to do things that are right. So guys, we have to study. I know it doesn't sit well with others because in a certain group there's always that black sheep, and then they feel like, okay, I'm just being forced to do this, but at the end of the day you end up helping that person. They will even come crying to you guys, you made me, you guys, you made me. So as you go on about, you make sure that you promote positive peer pressure. Okay, you promote positive peer pressure where if you were to sit someday, you meet people someday, they'll be like, hey Faith, you know what you were doing, in as much as that at that time I felt like it was bad, I felt like you were pressuring me, see who I am today because of you. Yeah, so that's what you should do also. You who is watching, you who is a pupil, whether you are a grade 1, you are a baby class, it doesn't matter. As long as you are a pupil, you are aspiring to be a pupil, learn from it. Peer pressure will always be there in school. And if you are not scared, because it is in there where they say education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world, by Nelson Mandela, right? Am I right? Exactly. So if you kid it there and then, guys, in as much as they say, me, I made it in life without education, there will come a point where you will need education. And then those that drop out from school because they lost their way, they don't easily come back. So don't be a victim of a person who drops out of school because you lost your way. So stand on your ground, as Faith said. Know where you come from, as Faith said. Unfortunately, I can't tell which is which. I'm privileged to say, as Faith said. Kalimo said my Faith, yes. So stand on your ground, as Faith said. And also just stay true to yourself. Know yourself. If mom and dad can't afford to get you things that you desire, work hard so that you get them for yourself, but not working hard in a wrong way. While you work hard, they send you to school. In the name of working hard, you abscond school. You start doing things that are not supposed to be done by you. At the end of the day, hey, you drop out of school because of circumstances. Maybe you fall pregnant, you do what and what, all those things. So abstain, guys. So I've talked too much. Guys, you've been an awesome guy. You were awesome guests. You brought out the best. You brought out Nakazung. At what way did she say sakam? I'm going to search what the word sakam means. But you've been an awesome people. You've shared exactly what we needed to hear from the topic of peer pressure, and I'm sure the person that was watching this episode has learned something. If that's wanapunzile nishawe, there's just something wrong with them. Yeah, you agree with me, right? Okay, so thank you so much for coming through to Temmie Talks. Temmie Talks is humbled to have you on board. And the pleasure is mine too. Okay, so guys, we were talking about peer pressure among students, and my guests were Faith Kalumba and Faith Muntali, both grade 12 pupils from Lusaka Girls Secondary School. Lusaka Girls, you were well represented. Is it presented or represented? Yes, Lusaka Girls, you were well represented by your girls here, and I'm just glad that I had them on board. They broke down the topic very well. So I have been your host, Temmie Talks. This is Temmie Talks. We are signing out.